This is the Music and Mental Health Podcast with Theology and DJ Fat Rain.
Welcome to the Music and Mental Health Podcast, episode 13, with Theology and DJ Fat Rain. In fact, this month, we have DJ Fat Rain himself on the decks as he takes us through a journey of extremely gorgeous deep house. Later on in the mental health discussion, we'll be talking about the power of saying no, which is something I really struggle with. So, let's all get something out of it, shall we? But first, let's start off with some music, shall we? This is Bored with Fragment 2. Enjoy.
And the gas, when that runs out, the whole house is freezing.
This is the Music and Mental Health Podcast.
What a lovely tune that was. Next, we have Hannah Fernando with Universal Love.
I'm going to talk to you this evening on the subject of the spectrum of love. Universal love
This is the Music and Mental Health Podcast. a music and mental health podcast. Music and Mental Health Podcast.
I've been surrounded by my demons, but I tame and I broke them and allow yourself to hear all the sounds that are going on around you. Just listen to the general hum of the world. As if you were listening to music.
This is the Music and Mental Health Podcast with Theology and DJ Fat Rain.
Icarus with October there, and before that you heard Shinobi with Faraway Place, the Rampa remix, and before that you heard Prom Night with Absolute.
Simply allow them to play with your eardrum.
Next we're gonna come together in Matthias Meyer fashion. This is Knox Vaughn and Marsh with Come Together, the Matthias Meyer remix. Enjoy.
It's all just sound. As you hear sounds coming up in your head, you simply listen to them as part of the general noise going on. And soon you will find that the so-called outside world and the so-called inside world come together, 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 come together. I want you to listen to the sound of my voice just as if it were noise. Don't try to make any sense out of what I'm saying, because your brain will take care of that automatically. You don't have to try to understand anything. Just listen to the sound.
Music and Mental Health Podcast.
You just heard Celestia with Durante and Hannah, and before that was Ben Boomer with After Earth. Next is a classic that I would play at Lush all the time. This is Diamonds featuring Solomon Gray by Lane 8.
Music and Mental Health Podcast. Music and Mental Health Podcast.
Love is a verb, love is a doing word. Fearless on my brain. Gentle impulsion shakes and makes me lighter. Fearless on my brain. Teardrop on fire. Fearless on my brain.
Massive attack there with Teardrop, and that was the Augustin Olmed unofficial remix. Before that, you heard Empire of the Sun with We Are the People, the Mass Digital remix, and before that, you heard Buggy by Yotto and Lane 8. Up next, we're gonna chase the sun. This is Planet Funk's Chase the Sun, the Antrim remix. Enjoy. with Sky. And up next is Durante and Hannah again, this time with 13 Voices. Enjoy.
Away.
the Music and Mental Health Podcast.
A beautiful one by Roush House. That was Kaiju, the Hickey and Kayla remix. And up next, we've got the Custody remix of Enjoy the Silence by Depeche Mode. Enjoy.
This is the Music and Mental Health Podcast.
What a way to end it. That was Magic Fungi, or Fungi, however you want to say it, by Canakid. And before that, we had Amethusia by Q-Dream and Bondarev. I really hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Man, that was a journey. Now let's get into it. Here is the discussion on the power of saying no. What's up, guys? How we doing? It's the Music and Mental Health Podcast. I'm here with my good friend, DJ Fat Rain. I'm Theology, and we're ready to talk about the power of no.
The power of no.
Yeah.
And today's podcast is sponsored by Dynaflex. So when you've got that really buff right forearm, you need to balance that shit out. Dynaflex. Please don't sue us.
Please don't
but
sue
also,
us.
I love your product, so send us some proof.
Oh my gosh, I am dead.
One buff arm.
Woo! Actually, the way that lights up is really nice. If you guys are watching on YouTube, you will have seen that. If you're on Spotify, sorry, go to YouTube. Yeah. Anywho, Nathan, the power of no. This is something you brought up, and I was like, yes, I would love to talk about that because I am the worst at saying no. I grew up my whole life as a people pleaser, right? I had to do that. And I don't know, just kind of due to the way my childhood was. And I'm terrible at it. I'm really terrible at it. And it's gotten me into some weird situations in life that I did not want to be in, but I did them anyways because I didn't want to say no. It was literally like a Seinfeld episode. Like, come on, like, do you know like what I mean there?
You're speaking to someone who's never seen Seinfeld. So
oh no. Okay, well,
I mean, I know the characters, but also
yeah,
I
sure.
just don't care.
I don't know, they also have the inability to say no and they get into some weird situations. And I remember there's this whole episode about them like making up excuses to get out of stuff, and it's just like the most outlandish stuff. Anyways, I did have a question for you that I typed out.
Talk to the wizard.
Yes, you're a wizard, Nathan.
You're a wizard.
Where do we draw the line between living, or excuse me, that's something else. Yes, this is it. Where do we draw the line between being nice to people and saying no when we know that it will actually suit our best interests to say no? That's a tough thing for me to do because I always feel like a dick if I'm not people pleasing and saying yes to people, even if it's at my own detriment.
I mean, it's really how you approach it.
Mm-hmm.
I think following the rule of don't be a dick is always a good one.
Right. Yeah.
You can say no to someone without being a dick about it. With that said, it is let me take a step back. When you realize what is good and bad for you, as far as like you have the energy for, or whether someone's asking something of you which is outside of what you're comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
The power of saying no reveals who that person is in your life to you. Because if someone who is close to you understands you, is like, oh no, that's completely fine. Thank you for letting me know that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, can you help me move next week? Yeah, I can help you. And knowing in your head is like, oh, I've got to rearrange some plans, and maybe I just really don't want to do that. You can just say, sorry, man, I really can't right now. It's like I'm really just kind of busy and don't have time in my life at the moment. But if you really do need something, let me know, and I see I might be able to. And that is also going back into that people pleasing section. Because leaving that door open, right? Instead of just saying, no, sorry, I can't do that.
Do we want to leave the door open though? That's the thing.
No, you don't, because if you don't want to do it, leaving the door open is just a way of saying like, yeah, but so it's a wishy-washy. You don't need to give someone a reason. You don't need to go into a whole elaborate thing of why. You can just say, no, sorry, I can't do that. And if they're like, oh, no worries, great, they're a friend. If there's like, why can't you do that? Why can't you do this for me? Am I a good enough friend for you? I did this. And then they start bringing up things like, oh, I did this for you then. Can you not do it for me now? So the power of no is a way of creating energy within yourself to retain your own power and also reveal on the other side who that person is to you. The
I love
unfortunate
that,
thing
man.
about social media and everything else is that we have thousands of friends now, but the word friend doesn't have the same meaning as it used to be. To
Yeah.
me, it's more of like there are levels. Like you're an associate in a kind of way. It's like, yeah,
Mhm.
I know you. Like when you go to a music show and you
Sure.
meet someone, it's like, hey, this is Timmy. You're like, oh, hey, Timmy, how's it going? Oh, yeah,
Yes.
great. And then 10 minutes later, no idea what their name
Right,
is.
right, exactly.
But then you see him next time, it's like, oh, hey.
Yeah.
But so you know someone and you may have been friends with them on Instagram or Facebook and you go to the same shows and same things, but you don't actually know them. They're not a friend.
Right. Because to spend time with them and actually like so into their life, as it were, is what separates. Yeah, I mean, I understand. I have tons of acquaintances that are like that I see, you know, at shows or wherever it may be, right? And yeah, I totally understand that. But like, gosh, I don't know. It's still so hard for me to say no. I wish that I wish it wasn't so hard, but maybe.
So let me force you on 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
The words we use are important. I need, want, could, wish.
Okay. Elaborate on that because I'm confused.
Oh, I wish I could be better at this. Oh, I need to be better at this. Oh,
Got it.
I really want to do this. Oh, I should do it. All of these things are partly shaming words, but also they are very wishy-washy. There is no definition behind them. I am versus I will.
Sure.
And this goes into the power of no, because there is power behind the words you use and the way you talk to yourself. The way we talk to ourselves and the way we talk to other people is different. And the question you ask yourself is like, do I want to do this? Yes or no? Should I be doing this? Does this feed me? Do I have the energy? Do I have the spoons for this?
Yeah.
Right. Because in the end, you can only put yourself first. And if you want to be there for other people, you have to have the energy for it.
True.
And also sometimes you just want to sit at home on a couch and do nothing. And that's okay too.
Yeah.
But going back into what you were saying of like, I wish I could be better. Well, wishing does nothing.
Yeah. Then just do it, right? Shia LaBeouf it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Here's the thing.
Well, I mean, that's a thing.
Yeah. My wedding was kind of an exercise in this, if you will, because I did have to say no to certain people. There were people who we mentioned that we were getting married who invited themselves, and we had to say no, and it was awkward. I didn't want to. I'll be flat out honest about that. I wanted everyone and anyone to be there. But because we had a capacity limit and because not everybody had a relationship with both Maddie and I, we did have to say no. And that's beside the point, right? Of there were other people who we didn't even talk to that we wish could have been there. But again, you got to say no at some point. And
so how did these people take it on the other end?
Well, the ones that truly were good friends understood. They were fine with it. Maybe they were a little disappointed and didn't say anything, but they were fine with it, and we still talk and nothing's weird. There was one example though of somebody who like freaked out at me, and I don't speak to them anymore, really. But it's not like we were that good of friends in the first place. Honestly, it was more of a, oh, hey, at the show acquaintance type person. And I don't want to throw anybody under the bus because I do still feel bad about that. I don't want to have bad blood with anybody, but at the same time, I didn't ask for that to happen. So this goes back into things we talked about earlier, is like, what can you control? Like you can control your reaction to what happens to you. So I decided to control it in that in the way that I did, right? And I guess my whole point here is that despite all of this, I still feel a little awkward and a little guilty inside. I mean, should I, or should I just let it go? Like, where do we draw the line there? And I love saying that now. Where do we draw the line? But
why do you feel like you need to hold on to that? What is that doing for you?
Yeah, I don't know. Because I have these principles, I guess, of really valuing people and relationships over everything. And I feel like, this has to be it. When I'm saying no and it's inconveniencing somebody like that and they have a reaction, I feel like I'm not being true to my principles of putting people and relationships over everything. But is that true?
But it's also not your responsibility for other people's reactions. Like their emotional reaction or physical reaction, whatever it is, has nothing, like, it's not your responsibility to hold on to that. Right. That's theirs. How you react to it and, carry on the conversation is what you are in control of. But you don't need to hold on to the guilt. And, people out there, everyone does it. I do it. It's a process. Yeah. All of these things are processes, right? It's the act of realizing what's going on and being able to deal with it better each time. Mm-hmm. But you don't need to hold on to these things because, number one, it doesn't serve you. Number two, it perpetuates what's going on. And it's not worth it. We don't know what's happening on the other side with that other person. There could be someone in your life that, from 10 years ago that you still think about and you still hold on to. They've probably forgotten. But for some reason, you're holding on to it. So ask yourself this question of like, why do you feel like you have to feel this way? Because I'm sure it came from somewhere in your childhood environment, growing up, whether it was parents, siblings, bullying, whatever it is, that is ingrained into our psyche of, I have to feel this way for this reason. But the reality is you don't always have to. You don't have to feel guilty about something. Obviously, if you go up to a kid and steal his ice cream cone, you're a dick. And you should feel a little guilty about that. Unless that kid was being a dick first, and it's fine. But if you're saying no, it's like, hey, I'm really sorry. We have a capacity on our wedding. We've had to make some hard decisions. This is nothing personal. Mm-hmm. You only know me. You don't know Maddie, and we're trying to make sure that the people that we have there are from both sides. I really hope you understand this, but I'm just sorry. It's kind of an invite. But we're gonna have a party some down the line. I would love to have you there for this.
But is that keeping the door open?
I mean, yes, but this is a scenario. Or
sure. Yeah. Okay. Like, yeah. Of course.
Yeah. So there are always ways to deal with the situation. Sure. And you don't, if someone goes react to you, like, well, you're one of my best friends from 10 years ago. This is an insult. I'm like, I'm sorry you feel that way, but this is just how it is. Versus someone who would just be like, oh no, I totally understand. No worries at all. I would have loved to be there, but I will make sure that I see you in the future.
And most people did react like that, which, okay. So I'm thinking of a lot of things and I'm processing right now. So there's this old saying that one person ruins it for everybody, right? Mm-hmm. Like one person did this, so now there's a law against it. But in this scenario, just hear me out. I don't think that one person acting in a certain way should make me react in such a way that is canon and detrimental. And I guess what I mean by that is that most people understood and they were cool with the fact that I said no. Most people did. Just because one person decided to freak out doesn't mean that I should not still find the power within myself to say no, because most people reacted in a normal way, in a normal fashion. Does that make sense? Did I articulate that well enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's following the principle of don't be a dick.
There you go.
It's a good value.
Yeah.
Just don't be a dick.
It's a very good value. And that's how I try to live.
For the most part.
Yeah.
You know what? We always don't succeed in life. None of us are perfect. And if people says they're perfect, they're lying to you and to themselves.
Oh yes.
That's old April thing. Try to say no more in your life and see how it changes you. Okay. I'm not saying like you have to say no to everything.
Yes.
But listen to yourself.
Yeah, when you're in that scenario where you're like, I'm uncomfortable, I can't do this, I need to say no.
Yeah.
Try it. You might like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't be a dick.
I just feel like, yes, don't be a dick, because that's, golden rule number one. I feel like life is sometimes kind of like an RPG. And when the game started, I rolled terribly for the power stats and saying no. But I guess the more you do it, the more it becomes a muscle, and the more you can flex it, and the more you can refine it to do it in a way that you're not being a dick. I mean, you're wearing a wizard hat, so I had to make some kind of RPG reference because you're my spirit guide. So you are the mage.
I segue.
Yes.
I see LFG said it everywhere these days. In my mind, I'm like, oh, they looking for a group? It's like, no, it's let's fucking go. And I was like, God.
And I'm guilty of saying LFG all the time.
Oh, you're looking for a group? Me too.
But I'm going to think about that every time now, because it never it never made the connection, because I'm a child, I speak like the youths. That's so fire, bro. Anyways.
Oh dear. Do you know the song Nobody Here by, I think it's Merrimack. I think it's Oliver Smith's alias.
Yeah, I know that song.
Nobody here.
Yeah.
Next time you listen to it, it's Nobody Hair. Nobody hair. Anyone out there, let's find that song. You cannot hear it ever again without hearing it that way.
I love that so much. Yeah, I love doing that with songs. There's this one song that's like, it's called Ride It, I think.
It's very
it's on Deep House Drive, which is this playlist Maddie likes to put on a lot, and it totally sounds like he's not saying Ride It. It sounds like he's saying Joe Biden, and I hear that every time in my head. But yeah, whatever, it is what it is.
So out there, are there any songs that have that effect for you guys? I want to hear them. I want to hear music in a different way.
Yeah, let's do this. Yeah,
so,
love it. So,
or you can say no and don't do that, and that's okay.
Right? Yeah, that could be one of the takeaways from this episode, is that you say no to our request. But I mean, live your life, do what you want.
Live your life.
So yeah,
live mass. Don't sue us, Taco Bell.
Yes, please don't sue us. That's one of the takeaways I'm getting, is that saying no is kind of like, it's a muscle, and you need to flex it more in order to develop it and to refine it without being a dick. Any takeaways on your end?
Just the gun show. When you say no, flex that muscle. Flex that gun show.
JK, I don't have muscles.
What I would say is, when you say no to someone and it feels uncomfortable, ask yourself why it feels uncomfortable. Is it uncomfortable because you've never done it before? Is it uncomfortable because the person on the other end has having a bad reaction? Like, just
which you can't control.
See what comes up, which you can't control.
Or is
see what comes up for you?
Yeah, or is it that way because you were being a dick?
And follow that rule. Don't be a dick, and it'll be fine.
Exactly. I love it. All right, dude. Well, huzzah.
Until next time.
Huzzah to the wizard.
I'll wear a fez next time.
All right, perfect. I can't wait to see that. Follow us on Discord. We have an email, the music and mental health podcast @gmail. Send us anything you want there. Leave a comment, subscribe. We're on YouTube and on Spotify. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next month.
Live mass. Don't sue us.
Yep. Yo quiero Taco Bell. Adios.